Hello fellow cinephiles, Film Guru here. Today I'm reviewing Avengers Infitity Wars. This is directed by the Russo brothers, who'd previously done Captain America Civil War and Captain America Winter Soldier, and it stars Robert Downey Jr., Chris Hemsworth, Chris Pratt, Chris Evans, Scarlett Johansson, Dave Bautista, Benedict Cumberbatch, Don Cheadle, Chadwick Boseman, Sebastian Stan, Paul Bettany and Elizabeth Olsen, as well as a variety of others. This is a story of the Avengers joining with their new allies to try and stop Thanos from collecting all the Infinity Stones and destroying half the universe. It turns into a race against time to try and stop him from this happening, and different superheroes join different groups to try and make this happen and come up with ideas of how to stop him from taking over or destroying half the universe. Look, to begin with, this is a massive undertaking. It's a huge film. It's the first film with so many superheroes in it, and such an epic film in many ways. And the Russo brothers have done really well with this, I feel. They've done quite a good job with it, combining all the different stories into one and having all these superheroes and giving them a reasonable amount of screen time per character, which is really a massive thing to think about on how they did that. I think they cut their teeth on Captain America Civil War, where they had a variety of superheroes in that and trying to create that sort of thing and have enough screen time for all of those characters. Look, I want to start with what I liked with this. I thought Josh Brolin did a really great job, one of his best acting performances, and he's really good as Thanos. I think he does really well as that character. They give him a little bit of depth, not as much as I actually really wanted to know about him, but just a little bit to get you going through, and his motives behind why he's trying to do what he's doing is really interesting as well. Everybody in this is fantastic, I think. Everybody does a really good job. Everybody knows who their characters are, and they know how to bring those characters to life on the screen. I think the parts I really enjoyed was where Captain America returned with some of the other Avengers. And I think his return was fantastic. The way they filmed that was brilliant. He looks so different. His hair's longer, he's got a beard, he's sort of a bit more angrier and a bit more stern with his looks and what he has to say. And he's really great in it and in his scenes that he does have. I was really impressed with him. I really liked Thor. Chris Hemsworth is continuing to play Thor in a really interesting way. In each movie he does, I find him even better and better. And I liked how they combined Thor and the Guardians of the Galaxy together, because I thought that was a really great thing. They sort of matched each other because they're both from a different world, so to speak, and they take place in a different world besides Earth, even though some of Thor's films are on Earth, and there are tiny bits of Guardians that do take place on Earth as well. But I think the combination of these two was really, really great and smart idea. And the Guardians still felt like the Guardians. It was like James Gunn came and wrote their scenes because they just really connected and felt like these characters were still there. I love the fact that Groot's a teenager now and not a small plant or an adult yet. He's still in the middle. And they really capture that teenage-esque sort of character. The other things I did like is there's some great set pieces and battles. One battle in particular was Wakanda. There's a great battle there where Captain America, Romanoff, the Hulk and Winter Soldier join the Black Panther and they fight these creatures. It's a really, really great scene and really great cinematic scene, great action set piece, and I was really impressed with it. It's one of the best action scenes I think I've seen in these sort of superhero movies in quite a while, and I was really, really impressed with what they did. Everybody's great here. Black Panther's back. He's really brilliant in his role, and it's good to see these characters come back so quickly, coming back after they just released Black Panther not long ago. And the final battle was really great as well, which is part of the Wakanda fight, which I really, really liked. And it's good to see these characters back again and having so much fun in such a massive film, and it's only part one. We've still got another part to go to see what happens to these characters, which is really interesting. And I sort of did like the way they ended it. I won't give any spoilers away, but they ended in such a unique and different way that they haven't done in the other superhero movies, and I was really impressed with that concept. Look, what I didn't like about it was, with Thanos, I didn't think there was enough depth to him. We didn't really know a lot about him. We learned a little bit, but not a massive amount. they just threw you into the film. There wasn't really a lead up or anything, and I know there'd been previous films too, and it sort of takes place a bit after the end of Thor Ragnarok, but I just felt that we needed a bit more lead into it than just being thrown into it. I thought there were some characters that were kind of pointless. They served a little bit of point, like Paul Bettany's Vision and Elizabeth Olsen's Scarlet Witch. They served a purpose, but I just felt they were underused and they didn't really do anything. They were just there. It was a waste of character. And they had not a lot of purpose in what they were doing. They were just sort of there. And I thought they were more capable of that, and none of the films with these two characters in them have really done justice to them, I don't think. Some of the matching of superheroes and other superheroes together didn't really work for me. Like, I didn't really care much for the Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man and Benedict Cumberbatch's Doctor Strange coming together, because they're both megalomaniacs and ego-driven characters, and it's just too much on screen for these two when they're exactly the same. And I just found some of the scenes a bit boring, and some of the characters didn't really connect with or care too much for. And I just felt I didn't get really into it until Captain America and the Guardians showed up. And before that, I was just like, yeah, whatever, it's kind of okay. But I just wasn't that impressed with it. I haven't been really impressed with any of the Avenger films. I'm not a big fan of them. Captain America is probably one of my favourite characters, and he's the main reason I do go to see this, and he was the main reason I went to see this film, because Chris Evans has spoken about how this and the next film are the last two that he's doing as Captain America. And I just felt, as a fan, I wanted to see what they did with him and how they sort of were going about portraying his character in the last couple of films. The humour did work in parts, and some parts it didn't work. The action was okay in certain parts. Some of the visual effects weren't great, unfortunately. Thanos looked good, and the different planets in the universe and stuff was really well done as well, and I was impressed with how that looked and how that came across. Like I said, this movie really wasn't for me. There was parts of it I liked and parts of it I didn't. I felt it was okay. It wasn't a terrible film, but it was okay to watch. I just think we've been so saturated with comic book movies of late that whenever we get new ones, I get a bit bored with it unless it's characters I like or storylines I like. And I feel that's what's happening. And look, I'll watch the next Infinity Wars Part 2 because I want to see how it ends, of course. But I'm a bit iffy with these sort of Marvel films of late, and Captain Marvel's coming out, which I'm kind of interested in. But I'm just thinking we get so beaten down with it, so saturated by comic book movies, that we're getting a bit over it. Well, I am anyway, and I think that's having effect on how I react to these Marvel films that are coming out and these different superhero movies that are coming out. Look, final verdict. Look, if you like the Avengers, if you like the comic book characters from Marvel, you'll probably thoroughly enjoy this. If you like a big epic film that spans across universes and planets and stuff like that, you'll probably thoroughly enjoy this. And if you like any number of these comic book heroes, whether Iron Man, the Guardians of the Galaxy, Thor, Captain America, Black Panther, you'll really get a kick out of this because they're all there to view, and they all get reasonable amount of screen time to be on there. I just didn't overly like this film. Like I said, I haven't been a real fan of the Avenger films throughout the collection of them anyway, and I feel Captain America Civil War was really an Avengers film and not Captain America, but that's a different story. And I wasn't really impressed with that much either. Look, I'm going to give this 3.5 out of 5. And the main reason I'm giving it the score to get to 3.5 is because of Captain America, Thor, and the Guardians of the Galaxy. And without them, I wouldn't probably have given it such a high score because they were the characters I really thoroughly enjoyed. Anyway, that's all from me today. If you've enjoyed what you've heard here, please hit subscribe down the bottom. Otherwise, until next time, enjoy the movies.